let's learn something really quick.
If you got the time, absolutely. And you got the discipline, there's no question about it.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great practice to put into your everyday life, you guys.
You generally regret the things you don't do, not the things you did do. Let me say it that way.
Mic drop. This was just awesome. I love meeting my guests in person, and it's a whole nother animal, and the energy is just electric. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, bring you incredible guests from all over the world, so sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest is the president and founder of X3 Sports, a training center offering a robust range of classes for all ages and experience levels. Please welcome Mike Littrel. Mike, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Appreciate you having me. What
you offer is so unique in the training classes, exercise classes space. And so when we first connected, I was like, wow, he's got something special here. Although you're located in Georgia, I can't wait to hear what plans you have for X3 Sports. So let's kind of talk about a little bit of your journey and creating this very unique niche business of yours.
Yeah, for sure. I think the best place to start is, why did I even go this direction?
Yeah.
Fitness is pretty amazing and something I'm very passionate about. But, how I ended up here is kind of, I'm assuming like a lot of people, you look for where you're trying to go. And sometimes it's not this well thought out plan. It's just that as you continue to move in life, things continue to open up, and if you see opportunities and you just move in that direction, you'll find more and more ways for things to change and open up. And so mine starts a little bit further back. Growing up, I'm originally from Iowa.
Okay.
So growing up in the Midwest, I come from a big family. I've got 6 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
I grew up in a house where, a lot of activity going on, but not a lot of money for other things. So we basically, sports through school was what I did all year round,
Yeah.
I played football, baseball, wrestling was one of my predominant sports. I trained in those, and then kind of went into, when I went to college, I moved to Atlanta right after high school to go to school. And I was, still looking to compete. I was doing a little wrestling and some club and some, tried training that. But I realized, training was really like, if I wasn't training for a sport, going to the gym didn't have the same, excitement to it. I was young, so there was the element of vanity and, wanting to be fit and strong and healthy and all that good stuff. But, there really wasn't like, something to be engaged with other than using equipment that you would use to train for sports. So anyway, I move on. I actually get into, go to an old boxing gym, to think this will tell you how old I am, but this is in the late 90s, early 2000s. So I kind of stumbled into this boxing gym, which was a very uninviting place. Let's just call it that. Like, this intimidating. This is before we had what we have now. There was no such thing as the boutique fitness space.
Yeah.
So, I kind of joke, it's like that moment when Apollo Creed took Rocky back to the gym, to his old gym, and they go walking in and they see all these like tough looking dudes, and they all just look at him like, who's the fresh meat walking in?
Yeah, right.
I don't think most people would feel comfortable, and it certainly was intimidating. But I was excited to learn to box, and luckily I found a guy who was in there. This was like only pro fighters were in there. Like, this is a rugged, very much like kind of spit on the floor, dirty type place.
But I think we all can imagine it.
Yeah. But I learned some boxing skills and, just had some fun with it. More from I had no ambition of competing and fighting and whatnot.
Sure.
Well, like I said, I wrestled all through high school and a little bit into college. I was doing some training, and then I added the boxing. And at this time, like, mixed martial arts was really starting to sort of touch the mainstream a little bit.
Okay.
So at the time, everyone was like this cage fighting thing, or at the time,
remember?
No Holds Barred, which was NHB, which now became mixed martial arts.
Right.
Kudos to a lot of the organizations, but like the UFC was one really instrumental in helping bring it to the forefront and making it a legitimate sport, along with a lot of other people along the way. So because of my background, I just got offered the opportunity to start competing. And I was competing in boxing and kickboxing and jiu-jitsu. And did pretty decent in that. I was 9-0 as a competitive fighter. I won the WK World Heavyweight Championship in 2002, all while I was starting my career after graduating college. So it was like, I'm like trying to do real estate after graduating college, and I'm like going to the gym and getting beat up for fun. And it was an interesting mix of where I was going. So I kind of looked at that as a whole, and I said, man, this is, really, really unique. I had to actually go to multiple places to get the type of training I wanted.
Yeah.
Another caveat to all this type of training is kind of tough, right? Like, it's not like if you're not competing for something, I wouldn't have gone through this type of training.
Sure.
It's hard to want to do it. So I started to think about it like that. And I said, well, let's see. I wrestled all through, and wrestling's a very tough and grueling sport too.
I bet.
Going to practice for wrestling kind of sucks. Wrestling's only fun when you got done and you won.
Yeah.
But I started to try to go, what is it that made me stick with it all those years? Because when I started, I was terrible. And as I got going, I got a little bit better and, ended up doing pretty decent as time went on. But I realized, the training was the training, but what it was is all my friends were in the sport. And so it kept me coming back because I'm like, well, all my buddies are going to be there. So like I stuck with it long enough to get good. And I started to kind of make that connection with exercise and fitness for people. A lot of people have their fitness goals and, they want to do things for themselves.
Yeah.
The challenge with that is, now there's more opportunities and options than ever. But on top of that, you really do need a supportive community, whether that's a coach, a trainer, a group of people to work out with. And those sports we grew up with were able to provide that for us, even if we didn't know that that's what it was doing. Like, we're playing sports, we're having fun. Yes.
Right.
You're also learning skills. You're also strengthening and conditioning your body. You're also having a community of friends and like-minded individuals. So that was really like, when I started to think about it, I was like, how do I take an aggressive style of sport like kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts, and make it, number one, beginner-friendly.
Sure.
Inviting to all people, not just, tough guys or men or people who think they want to go learn to fight, but in fact, quite the opposite. I actually was like, I don't even want to target fighters. I actually want everybody else because, fighters traditionally, it's a different group of people that
very different. Yeah, sure.
It's hard to build a business on that because a lot of people that want to do that, so rightly so, It's a little bit of maybe a screw loose to want to do that for a living.
I would agree.
And, I have a lot of young athletes that come to me and they're like, hey, I think I want to make a run at this. And I'm like, whoa, let me see. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
One of their options. But I understand it. There is a competitive element. So anyway, moving on, that's when I started to realize, number one, I was traveling to multiple gyms to get the variety of coaching and training that I needed for my sport. But I was also realizing there were different communities amongst these gyms.
Yeah.
And so my thought was, well, what if I could put this all together under one roof and make it so seamless that it didn't matter? You didn't have to have a membership to learn to box and a different membership to learn grappling or another one for strength and conditioning training. And like I could build that all into one roof. So that was sort of the big idea. And certainly it was a lot of work to get there. Just together without any problems. I mean, there was a lot of hiccups and roadblocks.
Yeah, but you found a hole in the marketplace, though. You found a need.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything like it either. I think that was the thing too. It was like, nobody was, I don't think people even knew they wanted it, and nobody was giving it to you anyway. So once again, another tidbit about kind of when I got started, this was, pre-social media, pre-Google, internet was there, websites were there, but I had these people down in parking lots with flyers to be like, hey, come try kickboxing with us, and they were like, oh, who's this weirdo chasing me down,
Bootstrapped. You bootstrapped your way.
100%. So, but it was fun. And what we did, we didn't have much money. We actually, our first space was an old Lens Crafters that we literally gutted out and just kind of put equipment in it. But our customers, when they came in, what we knew was we were going to give them the most amazing workout experience.
Yeah.
To the point where it didn't matter that we didn't have a nice, pretty gym, or we didn't have all the new equipment or anything like that. Like, we didn't need much. If you really were invested in helping that person, showing them something new. Wrestling, you don't need much equipment. If you have some space and a mat, you can do it. Boxing, I can use a lot of equipment, or I can do it just with air. And I can have somebody leaving just feeling like exhausted and yet accomplished.
Yeah, for sure.
But what it was the investment in that individual, like understanding what you want. Why are you here? What would you want out of this? Is it, I want to be fit? Is it, I want to feel empowered and strong and be able to defend myself and, look good and feel good, and we know it's a lot of those things.
Right.
Everyone wants some of all of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, as we should.
Yes.
So we just invested in creating the best experience, even without very many resources, and what we discovered was that paid off, time and time again. Like, in the business world, we always look for how to market, how to create ads, how to create leads, how to, and that's all good. You have to do those things.
Yes. In this age. Yeah.
Nothing beats, delivering top-notch service or product to the point where, as we know, your customer or your members or your clients are the ones who are going to go out and sell it for you, because
Absolutely.
You can't pay for that type of advertising.
No. I think what's very unique about your gym is that you have over 500 group classes every month. That's a lot of group classes.
Yeah.
So is that all under just one roof, or is that spread across all your different locations?
Yeah, so we're running probably about 100 a week per location. So
Wow.
So we're probably actually closer, much more than that now. We're probably closer to about that would be about 400. Yeah, probably close to 2,000 classes a month now.
There's like nowhere that I know of that offers that much variety. So I know you talked about, you started out with wrestling and boxing, mixed martial arts. What have you added, obviously, to your roster since then?
Yeah, great question. So, what's interesting is that's what's been the beauty of this, is we've been able to evolve with a little bit of the niche of the fitness space, because the fitness space really has exploded over probably the last 15, 18 years. So when we started, we were kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, and then we actually had a program which we call Fast Track, which is a HIIT style program. Okay. So it was kind of like a circuit workout with some speed and agility work. So those were our core pieces. As we moved on, I think CrossFit really started to sort of become a thing around 2008. Yeah, it was around before that, but really it started, I think the franchises really started to pop up.
Yeah, I remember.
So there was a trend going on. And again, we didn't want to be somebody who chased the trends, but we also know fitness, most of it's not anything earth-shatteringly new. Like, it's just repackaged in different ways. You're seeing now the Orange Theories and F45s and CrossFits and any different type of franchise out there. They're all great in what they do, but none of them have invented anything other than maybe a new way to package the workout, give you some digital readouts, or, add some heart rate monitors, or, using some technology. But at the end of the day, we realize fitness is fitness. It's how do you make it fun? How do you make it engaging? How do you make it where people feel like they're making progress, not just on the scale? Maybe pushing some weight. I want to see how I can push more weight now.
Yeah.
If you're like most people, like, why does that matter after a certain point?
I like to lift heavy personally, but yes,
No, I agree. And I think for some people, that's a good driver, but that's used to be all there really was to measure. Like,
right.
Okay,
yeah.
What else is there? I used to say, like, if I trained a lot of NFL guys over the years, and I was like, man, some of these guys, these are monsters, but some of the guys that I train, I'm like, they don't need to be able to bench press a Buick. Right. They just need to be strong and fit,
Right. Yeah. All different.
So to that point, we looked at that and said, we're already doing the Fast Track, which is a HIIT style program, a lot of plyometrics and a lot of body weight exercises.
Yeah.
But we did see the value in weight training, especially, like you said, lifting heavy, lifting strong, building up, because people have different goals.
Yeah.
We also knew that CrossFit was getting a little bit of a bad reputation from people that were hurting themselves. And I've never wanted to bag on any modality, because, again, I don't think it's about, I think the modality is good. I think it's like anything. It's who you're getting it from can either understand. If I'm helping a 60-year-old person begin for the first time, or a 20-year-old,
way different.
Way different. I might use the same exercises, but one might be lifting a barbell and one might be lifting a PVC pipe that weighs out practice. It's understanding that while the movements and everything can still be utilized across the board, just like if I'm training an NFL player or a professional fighter, I'm going to teach you the same things.
Yeah.
The difference is I'm not going to have you, again, squatting 300 pounds if your body isn't, one, ready for that, or two, needs to do that. You know,
Right. Sure.
if you're like, look, I like to play tennis on the weekends, or I like to golf, or I'm a weekend warrior, but I don't have to worry about getting tackled by a linebacker on Sunday. Good. We don't need to train your body for that.
Very great point. If someone wants to access all the different classes, is the fee the same, the monthly membership the same for everything, or do you have different levels?
Up until this year, we had like 3 tiers, like a X1 level, X2 level, and an X3 level. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm glad you bring that up because it was, we always, try to figure out what's the best for the customer. What do people want the most? And we figured, as you go up in tier, you're getting more value, you're getting more service, and the price is incrementally a little bit more. Nothing too extraordinary, but, whatever. We decided this year to try something new.
Okay.
And it was, what if it was one price, it didn't matter, and you got everything?
Yeah, that would be great.
What we've discovered is, even though people will pick a modality and sort of stick with it, there's 2 things that were happening. One, they were able to see other things, but in the past, because their package maybe didn't include that, it might have prevented them from even trying it. Even though we'd say, hey, if you ever want to, go try it out and let us know, and then we can upgrade you.
Yeah.
But sometimes even that little barrier keeps people from doing the next thing.
For sure.
And so back to our ultimate mission is I want to help everybody that walks in that door. I want to make sure that they achieve the goals that they're after and really bring out the warrior inside of them.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. And we, we've had a couple taglines, like our training was real training. So you got real results, real training, real results. And we've sort of moved into this, like mindset that everybody's a fighter. It depends on what you're fighting for, fighting about, fighting with, mentally, physically, and otherwise. So, we really want to bring out that inner warrior in everybody to be healthy.
If I was in Georgia, I would be one of your members. No, for real. Like, I have to go to like 5, 6 different locations to get all the different trainings in that I want. Like, I love HIIT. I'm a former martial artist myself, so I would love to jump in one of those classes. I do yoga. I know I think you have yoga as well, right? I love yoga. I have to go to multiple places to do the different workouts. I think what you've created is ingenious because like you're really solving a problem in the fitness world that no one else has done before. I know you got Lifetime. Even Lifetime, I don't think their classes are as accessible. Like they have different tiers like yourself. And so even if I wanted to jump into one of these different classes that they have, it's a real pain in the butt. It's not easy. It's not turnkey. And when you are focused and saying, okay, I'm going to try something challenging, you don't want it to be difficult to jump into that class.
That's right. Yeah, and that's a great point. I'm glad you bring that up because, that's been what's been ultimately unique about this is when we had the tiers, that kind of curated its own separation. And then when we said, look, let's make it all inclusive. Number one, we had a lot of people that like would come in, and I'll use this as an example, like females would come in and they would maybe do kickboxing or fast track because that's more in line with what they're usually thinking. Sure. But while they're doing that, our facilities are set up to where there's no really settled out rooms, like other than the yoga room is closed, but for purposes that we keep everything open. So like you can look over and see jiu-jitsu going on, or fast track or power track or kickboxing. And sometimes all those classes are happening at the same time. So the energy and the
oh my God, electric.
Yeah. You'll have like 150 people all training. It's like being in some of the training center. But what I've had is so many women who've started in one modality and they like, for instance, jiu-jitsu, which has predominantly been a male, type sport. 2 things happen. One, our coaches are always trying to invite people to cross train because it's always, we try to make it competitive. Like, I want you in my class. I want you in my class. And, we have a little bit of ego about who can build bigger classes because it's, again, we measure ourselves on how many people we can help.
Yeah.
And, so I've had more women who kind of watched it and then saw it and then realized, there's a couple other women in there. Maybe I could try it. And I get so many of them now that come back to me and like, I would have never, ever walked into a jiu-jitsu academy. I would have never tried that sport. And I have some women who've now been doing it so long, they moved into a black belt range.
Oh, wow.
And they will tell you, they're like, Mike, this changed my life. There are people who you would not even expect. Like, they're badasses, they're like legit hard, but they're the sweetest, calmest, nicest people. But they would have never found that because it was never accessible and open and inviting. So that's something I'm really proud of, because we've kind of taken all those barriers and say, look, we know this isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
But if you ever want to, explore it, it's in a safe, very inviting, and you're doing it with people that you already know. So you can trust that once we've earned that trust from you, that we're going to take good care of you. I have a woman who comes in every morning with our group. I train us about 6:30 in the morning for jiu-jitsu myself. And her name is Sherry, and I think she's in her late to 50s, or at least, probably late 50s.
Good for her.
She's a school teacher, and like, she just, if you look at the surface of her, you'd be like, that is not a woman doing jiu-jitsu. And here she is, just in there mixing it up with the guys and the girls and learning it. She's just loving the crap out of it, just because, she realizes it's a hard sport, but everybody has been committed to helping her.
Yeah.
And what was funny, the basic things, like, do you get it started with learning how to, like, roll again, like do a somersault.
Yeah.
The things you do as a kid, we've gotten so far away from, and wonder why our bodies hurt. We hurt ourselves just getting up out of bed in the morning. So, anyway, so I've seen, by us opening that barrier and saying, look, our memberships are now all inclusive. Yeah. We've seen a dramatic increase, because not just in new people coming aboard, but people now exploring new training modalities.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we have a unique offering and a proposition, maybe compared to what some of the more specialized boutiques have done. They do a great job in their own right, but like you said, you go to 5 different places because you want different things. So the variety, you have to go buy it in those ways. Yeah. And so we said, look, if we can give you variety under one roof, no barriers, and you have the ability to kind of do that, now you don't have to get bored with this, cancel this membership, right. Now go here, sign up for this new thing, see if you like it, see if you don't. You lose your community every time you do that.
Yeah, sure do. What's next for X3 Sports? I know we kind of touched on that a little bit before we started recording, because I think what you have is so unique in there. What you've created is so valuable. So why don't you share with the audience what's next for this brand that you have created?
Yeah. So I've been doing it for a long time now. I mean, X3's been around for over 17 years, which is...
Wow. Congratulations.
I feel like a dinosaur at this age, but I still love doing what I'm doing every second.
We can tell.
Yeah. And what I've realized is, much as I've translated that energy into helping clients and people in fitness, I'm kind of evolving as myself and helping other business owners and people that want to be in fitness as a career. I feel like it's such a way to help people where there's so many challenges now with health, obesity, mental illness, all these things. And again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is a cure-all. But for me, it's been a cure-all for many, many things. Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. And so I think when you have that built into your lifestyle, you have a good health span, you have a good lifespan, you have a good play span, it's
vitality. Vitality is earned, not given. And so being in fitness and a healthy lifestyle, that is a way to extend your vitality as a human being.
You got it. So, my goal, I think what I've been realizing is, how do I expand now? You kind of go back from passion and desire and drive to the business has to expand to help more people, to serve more customers, to get there. And I'll be honest, that my growth has been, in that journey as well. So I have to continue to level myself up. So I've been helping consult other, independent and individual studio owners. And I'm realizing there's a lot of great people out there that have gotten started in this business that maybe have, got their first couple of years under them, done a good job, but they realize there's kind of levels to where they're going to get stuck. Sure. Just like in training, just like in fitness, just like in professionalism. And I think because the industry has exploded in a good way, now there's so much competition and there's so many modalities. And, I don't think we're necessarily competing with each other. I think we're competing against McDonald's. I think we're competing against fast food. And I think we're competing against social media.
Big pharma.
Big pharma.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't look at a person in the fitness space thinking that they're targeting my customer. I think it's our job to get more people into our modalities, no matter what they are. Yeah. So that's becoming more and more my mission, is how do I look for other people that are doing this? And now I can leverage the last 20 years of my knowledge and maybe see where they're at 2 years in and go, oh, okay. Because to me, it's so much easier now.
Yeah.
It's like, right? Like I've become a black belt. But it would be wasted if I didn't either help other people that want to do this, learn from either my mistakes, or I just love coaching and helping. So we've started to expand. We've actually been looking at not only places to open up new locations, but more importantly, I think even looking at people that are already partly going and they have part of what we already do. So we're kind of thinking about a unique way to kind of create acquisitions where there's somebody who started down this road and they would just thrive if they didn't have to do every piece of the business, sales, marketing, customer service.
That's like it being a franchise. That's like offering a franchise for people. So you've got to figure it out.
And what I've realized is because we have the ability to franchise, but like if I think about it, when you get into franchising, I think your goal is to sell franchises, and that's fantastic. I like doing what I'm doing. I like actually helping people, and I see a lot of people that go into buy franchises, and they don't do very well.
Well, you could kind of be like the Chick-fil-A of a franchise for fitness, because they've really maintained their quality, and the people that own their franchises are very, very happy. So never say never. You never know. Well, Mike, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for where people can connect with you, learn more about X3, and just get in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can definitely find X3 Sports at x3sports.com. We also have all of our social channels on there. So we usually post content of what's going on, how we're connecting to the community. Another thing that's unique about us is we actually have our own nonprofit organization called the X3 Foundation.
Oh my gosh.
We've been focusing on helping after school programs and underserved communities for the last going on 9 years.
Amazing.
And it's another one of those passionate things to me where we built small gyms inside of schools to go help with after school training. And a lot of these kids would have zero access to something like an X3. So our mission is that even if a kid walks in our door and can't afford it, we have a way to give them a scholarship. We have a way to let them train. I'll never say no. Probably not the smartest business move, but that's where the foundation came into play. And we found that there were a lot of people willing to help us with that cause. So we have the x3foundation.org. And of course, Mom, not that I have a big Instagram following or anything, but I've started playing with that a little bit. So I'm at Mike.
X3 does. I tapped into your X3 Instagram. You've got 13,000 followers, I think, and it's not bad. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, I'm digging your content.
We're working on it. It's like trying to figure out how to be, reach more people in the way that they want to be reached.
It's very difficult. You're doing the fire. Yeah. You guys, I'm going to put those links in the show notes. So if you connected with Mike and you want to learn more about his organization or his charity, go ahead, click those links, go give him a follow on social. And, he's obviously doing something very unique in the fitness space. So go support him. Mike, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
This might be cliche, but just keep moving. Stay consistent. Fitness, professional, relationships, a lot of times it's less about trying to figure out the perfect plan, a perfect idea, and just keep taking steps forward. And much like I've gotten to where I'm at, some good, some not so great, but ultimately is every day is about just getting up and keeping moving forward. And you'll be so amazed. And I keep reminding myself, there's the answer. There's the answer. Yeah. The answer is in staying moving and keeping going forward, not letting yourself just get bogged down or overwhelmed. So I don't know if that's that's something.
I couldn't agree more, because I think people get too caught up in the problems and not realizing there's a solution. Just as long as you keep moving forward, you can't allow it to keep you stuck where you're at, especially if you have goals. So beautiful. I love it.
We stuck to one. So if the solution isn't how you thought, it doesn't matter. There's still another answer.
That's right. That's right. Mike, awesome. Congratulations on your success and everything that you've built. I think it's so incredible and unique. I love it. Can't wait to see where you take it. And we really appreciate you sharing your story with us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
You're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.